Chad January joins us now to show us how to transform a leg of lamb into something special for Easter. He's going to stuff it and serve it with a herb sauce, which is perfect for a gathering of friends and family. So I'm predominantly vegetarian and vegan, but I have to say, what you have down here looks all good.
Thanks.
Tell us what you're doing.
Okay, so firstly, there's the stuffing part of the lamb.
Okay, which is
right?
a big thing, apparently.
That is, and I think the most important thing is you've got to make sure that your stuffing is ice cold, because you're going to put warm stuffing onto raw, cold meat.
Okay.
That's going to be a health issue.
Okay, tell us why.
So you're basically going to be semi-cooking that meat with your cooked stuffing onto your raw meat, and that's not what we want,
is not
right?
Okay.
So in the stuffing, in my pan, I've basically just got some pork sausages, but you could use beef sausages. I mean, if you are going a vegetarian, you'd obviously not use lamb, but you can maybe always stuff like your veggie boats or stuffed butternut or your aubergines, that type of thing. So yeah, we've just got our meat in. You could use beef, sausage, or lamb if you'd like. We've got some onions in there, and then we're going to add in some fennel. Right, fennel's got like this beautiful like licorice flavor, so it just like lifts up this dish because lamb is obviously quite rich itself, and that just basically cooks down. All right, and we'll add in some wine.
Tell you're going to do a sauce for us as well while Chad is doing that.
Okay, so while I'm adding in the wine, just watch out, that just pops a little. That's fine. The wine's going to take at least about 5 or 10 minutes to cook down. So let's get into sauce, right? So this is a beautiful green sauce. It's got some herbs in. You can literally just throw in every single ingredient as is into the jug. Okay, so we've got some mint, some parsley. We've got some anchovy paste, olives, mustard, gherkins, and we've got some pistachios with that like bright green color.
That sounds all good.
And then we're just adding in some olive oil and a little bit of... You just add everything in.
You just hoy?
Yeah.
You enjoy cooking? Yeah, you do? What do you usually make?
I use mince and pasta. So linguine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You love your pasta?
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason why I like pasta is because it's easy to make and it's fast.
It is, yes. And it also feels like home. Like I know for many, this is such a celebratory meal when it comes to spending time with family, right, Chad? It's like going home to mom's leg of lamb.
It really is. It's one of those meals that can actually feed a crowd.
Yes.
And obviously in family times, there's those guests who arrive and not meant to be there. This is how you can actually feed them.
Yes.
Okay, so I've just added a bit of garlic into my stuffing mixture, and you can just blend that sauce up beautifully. There we go. Just let it settle a little bit, and then we'll taste it and see if it needs maybe a little bit of lemon juice or maybe a little more vinegar, some salt. But that is perfect.
And so this goes as a side?
This is a side. So you'll taste it, and it's quite acidic, simply because the lamb itself is very rich. So you want to break through that richness, and that sauce goes beautifully.
Okay.
So we've used a lamb shoulder, simply because it's a tougher cut, which means it cooks for longer. So you're going to cook it for about 2 to 3 hours, max 4, right? So our stuffing is... Because of this TV, our stuffing is cool.
Okay.
And you're going to put it onto the one side of the lamb. All right, you'll add them into the one side of the lamb. It will, as you start stuffing it, you'll notice that some of the filling falls out. That just adds to beautiful gravy when you put it into your actual baking dish. So I'm just going to stuff them like that. And then, of course, you've got to season the inside of your meat with a little bit of salt and pepper. And then, literally, all you do is you hold it together and you roll it away from you, never towards you. All right, and then we would take some kitchen twine to hold it together.
Yeah.
Pop that onto a baking tray, cover with foil, and that goes into the oven for about 3.5 to 4 hours. It does depend on your size of lamb. You normally go at about 20 minutes per 500 gram based on your actual cut of meat that you're using. But drizzle with oil, baking tray into the oven, and that's done. So now we're going to the potatoes. Now, I always feel like with lamb, you've got to have some crispy potatoes.
Yes.
And this one is done a little bit differently. So we basically roasted it twice. So you roast it, right? And then while it's still a little warm, you take your fork, right? And all you do is you slightly mash them. Right? What this does is this creates that beautiful, like, rough texture,
Yes.
and when it roasts, that's what gives you that crispiness that you want, right? So these guys are going to go in.
How long did you cook that for before this?
So it depends on the size of the potatoes. So if you're going to
Okay.
go with baby potatoes, you want to cook them for about 10, 15 minutes at least,
Okay.
right? If you're going for larger potatoes, I definitely say cut them in half and maybe just go for about 15 to 20.
Okay. Potatoes and pasta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, and then this just gets a little bit of salt and a bit of pepper. And then if you want, you can pop this into the oven for us.
Okay.
And then that's done.
Thanks, guys. Well, there you go. To get this recipe, all you have to do is head on over to afternoonexpress.co.za.